Hello and welcome to your NARSA weekly update for the week commencing Monday the 12th of August 2024. It's Gary here again. As always, I'd like to start by thanking you very, very much for taking the time to join me. And I am literally just back from my week-long holiday with Leo. We went out to beautiful Invermere in British Columbia and drove back, got back kind of mid-afternoon today. It's a wee bit later recording today as a result. I was hoping to get to record before we left, but the final preparations for our departure from the apartment dictated that I couldn't. So it's a wee bit later and hopefully that's not too much of an inconvenience for you. While I was gone, thankfully I didn't miss any of the games and we are truly right back in the thick of it. I think I've actually said that for the last couple of pods here, but we are really right back in the thick of it now and got a chance to see both of the games on this cracking smart TV in the apartment, which was just a joy to watch. I had visions of actually having to watch it on my laptop, but I had it on the TV and it was good. It was a good experience. Let's just say that, and very, very comfortable in doing so. So let's just talk about those games, shall we? 2 games last week, of course. Tuesday's European Champions League qualifier in Poland against Dynamo Kiev, and that was 1-1, a 1-1 draw there. I have to say, folks, the team sheet was, I don't know what the best word is for it. Is it demoralising or uninspiring or something like that? And, so then I'm talking to some folks before it. I'm thinking myself, this is awful. This is going to be a disaster here. Of course, haven't seen Dynamo Kiev, but I heard what they did in the prior round there. And then our performance, I thought, was absolutely brilliant. We really took it to them from the very beginning and just looked like a completely different team from the team that had played against Hearts, especially in the first half against Hearts. And last week I'm of course going on about these guys just aren't good enough, they aren't coachable, you can't coach these guys to a different level and they need to be replaced, and then they go and put in a performance like that. Shows you what I know, which is obviously not very much. And I have to say, before it I was dreading the game, I really was. And then as the game went on, I thought, right, okay, like either they're not as good as I thought they were, or we are much better than I thought we were, or it was one of these games that we surprised them. I'm not 100% sure exactly what happened truly, but we deserved everything we got from the game, and either way, however it all transpired, it's good for us. It was an entertaining game. Both teams were just going at it from the off, and it's absolutely given us a fantastic opportunity to head back to Hampden tomorrow. And at the very end of the game, of course, CD9 for 2 games. Sorry, not 2 games in a row. I'm preempting the Motherwell game here. Sorry, CD9 slotting home after a fantastic cross from Czerny. I almost swore there. Did you hear that? A fantastic cross from Czerny with about, 20 seconds to go, 40 seconds to go, something like that. Leo and I just bounced up. It was absolutely brilliant. And to be dead honest, I would have been happy with a 1-0. To get the draw at the end was terrific. It really was. Positives, our performance, the entire game, I thought, our pressing, our invention, our energy, especially going forward. I thought Ross McCausland played really, really well, certainly for the first 50 minutes or so, and I guess it was already kind of organised that he was going to be leaving the game after about an hour or so, and I thought we restricted them to very, very, very few clear-cut chances and kind of tidied up the chances that they kind of did get as well. And honestly, when was the last time, when do we typically score very, very late in games? I remember like the injury time 2 goals that we scored against Hearts at Ibrox last year, fairly early into Philippe Clement's tenure with us, but other than that, I don't recall us doing that escape artist type thing that we do. And Czerny's cross was absolutely brilliant. One touch in and then bang, it gets put straight across there. Defenders have very, very little time, and then Dessers just sweeps in and finishes fantastically well. And I thought, like Philippe Clement said after the game, I thought we thoroughly deserved the draw. Our stats were great, which I'll get to here in a wee bit here. The negatives, if there are any, the goal we lost was just a downer. I thought, I didn't think we deserved to lose the goal, to be honest, but I thought, once again, Captain Fantastic James Tavernier was sleeping instead of getting closer to him and getting goal side. I mean, he's literally watching the guy as he walks in and taps it in. Now, the same could be said almost for their defender with Cyril Dessers towards the end of the game. I don't care about their defender, I care about our defender. And it's just one of these things. He just doesn't seem to have that genuine defensive selfishness and grit and mentality when it comes to the defensive side of the game. And maybe I'm being a wee bit harsh on him because of the way that the play came out, but I just think he could have done better, and he seems to be involved in most of the goals that we seem to be losing these days. More about that in the Motherwell game here in a second. 1-1 away in the third qualifying round of the Champions League is good, so I'm not going to overdo the negativity on this one. We've definitely given Dynamo Kiev something to think about for tomorrow's game, and that's all we could really ask for after the first leg. The stats were 47% possession. Now, I got the stats from LiveScore, the LiveScore app that I use to track most of the games and what the calendar and schedule of games are, because the Rangers website said it was all gibbled on the weekend when I was writing these notes. So I don't know what was up with the Rangers website. It was like 0% possession, 0 shots on goal, stuff like that. So it says we had 47% possession, 10 shots on goal, 7 on target versus 8 shots on goal for them with 5 on target. So, okay, they beat us a wee bit on possession if that's true, but in terms of actual meaningful chances and opportunities to score, we quite vastly outweighed them. On the referee watch, I thought the ref did really well. Actually, he let the game flow and did what he had to do. Didn't get in the way, so he's going to get the standard 7 out of 10. And for those that are maybe just tuning in for the beginning, if a referee does his job, he gets 7 out of 10. If he does something remarkable, then we're looking at 8s, 9s, never a 10, I don't think, but we're looking at something like that. Anything less than a 7, he's in the bad books, and that's the way that it goes. The second game was back to league action, of course, and that was Saturday's 2-1 win against Motherwell, and that was our first game at Hampden, and in the first half we played really well. Do you know what? I was actually talking to my sister Debbie about this afterwards, that last year we would kind of be gash in the first half and really good in the second half, and we're like, Philippe, whatever you're saying to the players at half time, could you say that before the game starts, and then that would save us any of this angst that we seem to have. It seems to be the opposite now. We seem to go and do really well in the first half, and then the second half's a wee bit kind of bizarre. So not sure what that's about, but it's a pattern, and there's data within that pattern, and hopefully Clement sees it and his backroom staff see that and do something meaningful to get that organised. And I thought we started the game with the same energy as we did from Poland. They had a couple cleared off the line. I think it was a clear off the line and then a save from Wright and Dessers. And then CD9 does what CD9 does. I kind of preempted that a wee bit earlier there, but he gets 2 for 2 in the first 3 games of the season. And then our new signing that we were all really looking forward to having in the team as steel and grit and determination and such at the back has a bit of a nightmare and slots home an own goal on his debut for what was an absolutely completely undeserved equaliser for Motherwell. It was just a bizarre goal. I'll talk about that a wee bit in a second here, but it's one of these things, Czerny then gives the lead back to us with an absolutely brilliant finish, cutting in from the right hand side and rifling home with his left foot. And do you know what I was thinking straight after the goal? How many goals do we score from outside the box? Apart from James Tavernier's free kicks, which we haven't seen for quite a wee while. Obviously it's very early in the season here, but in terms of actually having a go and having a success from outside the box, that's not a thing that we've enjoyed much success with over the last while as well. So there's some things creeping in here now. And by the way, a couple of games that we've had, and then the manager has come out in the press conference afterwards, or the press conference to basically talk about the next game, and hasn't said we have a growing injury list. Apart from Cortez, obviously that was a bit of a downer, him getting injured in the first game against Hearts. But other than that, the players seem to be getting away with it for now. I'm going to touch wood, and I'm going to just keep all my fingers and digits crossed for that being the way that it's going to be going forward. But that's a bit refreshing. The second half was a rough watch, wasn't it? We didn't get going, and then we had to rely on Super Jack Butland to save or preserve the point for us towards the end with a good save. A save you'd expect him to make, but good nonetheless. And if we hadn't have won that game, that would have been an absolute travesty. And just the substitutions made the game a wee bit more clunky. You have to trust Philippe Clement that he knows what he's doing, literally, and that he's doing what he's doing to manage the players that he has available to get the results that we need to get, and not just in the game but looking forward at the same time. But it didn't work as much as we were hoping it would work, and that's we're 3 games in, we're just a wee bit behind where we want to be right now, but it's still very, very early days, and certainly the last 2 games has given us a little bit, me anyway, I'm not telling you how to feel, but it's given me real cause for optimism. Obviously we've got, what's that, just less than 3 weeks, I guess it is that right? Yeah, just less than 3 weeks to the end of the transfer window, and then we'll see what happens after that. Positives, the result and the first half performance, definitely positive. CD9 scoring for the second game in a row. Czerny's winner, brilliant. He scores he sets up the equaliser for CD9 on, was that Tuesday, and then he scores the game winner on Saturday. Pretty good week for our new guy, isn't it? And game time for those who needed it, which will hopefully bode well for us as we move forward into a very crucial, busy remainder of this month. Negatives, the own goal was dodgy and was avoidable. Tav, once again, could have done more, made more of an effort to cut out the cross, and he didn't, and he just doesn't do that, does he? He's always kind of just, I'll wait till you come in, or I'll just let you track back into the box or whatever. I know that was different on this occasion. Back to what I said earlier, his defensive frailties are they're really showing up. They always have, but I don't know. He's got a bit more of a spotlight on him now since that bid came in, since Connor Goldson's gone. And are we going to be looking for a replacement at the back with him going out? I'm not 100% sure. I guess we'll see. He just could have closed the guy down and prevented that cross coming in. Suter, not 100% sure what he was going to do, but it was a dodgy touch from him, and then Proper got the finish to poke it in. It was just a comedy of errors from the right back to the 2 central defenders. Second half, from a negative perspective, was a rough watch. We just lost fluidity and fluency. We had chances, but the more time went on, it just felt to me like the less likely we were going to get a goal. On the stats front, we had 56% possession, 14 shots on goal with 9 on target, versus Motherwell's 6 on goal with 1 on target. The 1 on target was obviously the save by Super Jack Butland, because we scored the OG. Do you know what another positive is? I said this to a few of the boys after, or maybe during the game actually, probably after. That was a really important result for a whole number of reasons. One, obviously, the Beasts from the East won their second game in a row, and then we didn't want to go any further behind them so early in the season, but we didn't know any of that when we were playing the game. That was our first game at Hampden, our first proper game at Hampden in terms of this leasing, rental agreement that we have with them right now. And if we had a dodgy result there, if we got a draw, or heaven forbid we got beat in that game, that would have just compounded the challenges and hassles that we've all been experiencing with the start of the season, or the pre-season and start of the season, to get us to a point where Hampden hoodoo, there's heckles and stuff, because we got 4 games in a row. We've got Dynamo Kiev, then we have the League Cup game against St Johnstone, and then we have, is it Ross County, I think it is, after that, before we go to Sharkhead. So we needed to get off to a good start on that one, and I'm really, really delighted that we did. On the referee watch, Kevin Clancy, I thought, had a decent game until he booked Proper for winning the ball, and then Yilmaz for getting fouled and trying to get back up. I don't know. I can only think that he thought he saw something, some phantom foul that wasn't there. Because sometimes when a player goes down, they'll kind of look like they're getting back up, but they're basically holding the other player back. That's not what Yilmaz did. Not at all. And the linesman's standing right there, and he runs over doing the Kevin Clancy, I cannot get my card out of my pocket quick enough for you, young man. So he's going to get 6 out of 10 for that. You need to do better than that, Mr. Clancy, and I hope that you do as the season goes on. 2 games this week, as I just briefly mentioned there. Our crucial second leg of the third qualifying round in the Champions League, and then we're back in League Cup action. And as I mentioned, we've got 3 home games in a row now before we go over to the unwashed stadium, so it's very important that we pick up 3 victories. And those, tomorrow's is Dynamo Kiev, of course, and that's at Hampden. That's the 13th of August, 2:45 p.m. Eastern Standard Time kickoff, 7:45 UK. The tie is definitely not done, but and this is footballing wise, fiscally wise, what would you say, atmosphere wise, mood wise. This is so important for us to put on a show, get a result tomorrow, and get into that final qualifying group. We do have Europa League group stages football to look forward to. Excuse me, but we are in a situation right now where if we get to the playoff round and don't make it in the playoff round against either Salzburg or Twente, we still get that parachute payment, and I think it was something like £2 million last year or something like that. It's a hefty fee, so fiscally, that's why I mentioned the fiscally part, and of course it puts us one step closer to the Champions League. And then we have St Johnstone at Hampden on Saturday the 17th of August, 12:45 Eastern Standard Time kickoff, 5:45 p.m. UK, so that's good for us here in Calgary. That's 10:45 a.m, so the pints will be flowing from the very beginning of the game. It's a knockout game at Hampden, and we need to win it to get through in defence of our trophy. Hopefully we do just that and get ourselves going. In terms of RTV, never heard a thing on the weekend, so that's always good news in terms of that. On the shout-outs front for this week, I'd just like to give a bit of a shout-out to Jeff at Orange County Rangers Supporters Club for providing a wee bit of a panicky weekend towards certainly a panicky lead-in to the weekend, because he redeemed the new club voucher, wasn't getting access. He wouldn't get access until game time because they've subscribed to the weekend only packages, and there was just a little bit of stress, let's just say, leading up to and including the day of the game. We got it all sorted out on the gate. Everything was absolutely fine and it went well. Jeff, my friend, thank you for everything you do for Brian and all the boys and girls at Orange County. And next time, just give me a call, my friend. I can walk and talk you through it and we'll get everything A-OK for you. But as far as I understand it now, you're in good shape. There's no need to get stressed out about that. We can fix whatever needs to be fixed well in advance. I'd also like to send a shout out to my love, Erin, for forgetting to wish her and the kids a safe trip over to Ontario. Apparently, I learned last week, after the pod last week, that this is the first time, and ever since I started the pod here, that I haven't wished them a safe trip away, and I have no idea how I managed to do that because she was away for 3 weeks. She will actually hopefully be in the air right now on her way back to Calgary, but my apologies, my love, that was not intentional, and I hope you had a fantastic time, and I look very much forward to seeing you tomorrow. I'd also like to thank Leo, my beautiful baby boy, for a brilliant holiday. I mentioned my holiday there. We did some golf. Well, that's a bit of a stretch. Anyone who's ever played with me at golf will know that I'm not a golfer at all. So played 3 rounds, 2 9s and 1 18. Had a brilliant, fantastic time. The weather was great. We did some jet skiing, some stand-up paddle boarding. We got a lot of walking in. I did a cold plunge dip in Lake Windermere every single morning, including this morning. And then, this is how I know that he's his father's boy. On the way back, he said, Monday's transition day for us. He goes to his mum's on a Monday, then he comes back home on a Monday. We do a week around. And on the way back, actually kind of yesterday, he said, you should probably just drop me straight off at my mum's, and then I'll go to the gym later, and then I've got a chance just to kind of chill out and relax. I says, that's a good idea. Drops him off at his mum's, big hug, thanks for a great holiday, I'll see you later in the week. And then I got home and I have to unpack the whole entire car, the stand-up paddle boards, the cool boxes, the golf clubs, the clothes, the food, everything that I had to unpack. So I gave him a wee bit of a tip of the hat and says, well played, wee man, well played indeed. And I just got a wry thumbs up back, man, oh man. And a final shout out for this week, I'd like to thank my beautiful niece Chloe for watering Erin's plants. Well, both of us were gone. I was gone last week. Erin is, of course, gone. So Chloe took the mantle and watered the plants every other day when it wasn't raining here in Calgary. Chloe, you are a trooper and a hero, and thank you very, very much for that. In terms of the convention update for NARSA 2025, I can confirm it's 304 days next week. We are going to be in the 200s and 43 weeks until we descend upon Kissimmee in Osceola County, and that is, of course, on June the 12th to the 15th at Omni Orlando at Champions Gate. Basically everything's the same as last week. We have our domestic beer pricing at $6.50, our import beer pricing $7.50, call brand drinks $7.50. Still need to get information about the wine. Bottled water, soft drinks $6. We're still looking at entertainment options. We did re-engage with the AV folks over at the hotel, so hopefully get a chance to chat to them this week. The golf fella is now in official ghost mode. He hasn't got back to me at all, but now that I'm back from holiday, I'll be able to sit down and get onto him to figure out what that looks like in terms of our proposed pricing for that. Of course, the hotel rooms are out and you can go and get those booked. The link will be in the blurb for the pod this week. And we do have a NARSA meeting, a NARSA executive meeting this Wednesday, where we will absolutely lock down the pricing of the tickets for this week. We've been trying to do it over our WhatsApp group and sometimes a wee bit of email. It's just too difficult to do that. We have a regular monthly meeting on Wednesday evening, so I'll bring you up to speed with what that looks like, and we'll get the tickets out here. Hopefully, maybe the end of this week, or maybe I'll do the announcement next Monday, and then that will be the actual formal kickoff of tickets being on sale. In terms of our VIP announcements, I did say last week we might hopefully get one out, but we will have that. We now have a video to accompany that for our big kickoff. We just need to update the copy, the text that we have to accompany that. We'll get that updated here early in the week, and we will have an announcement this week. You heard it here first, folks. We will absolutely have our first VIP guest announcements this week, and I say that plural because there are two that we are going to do in the same announcement. We do have our regular bi-weekly meeting with Rangers on Wednesday, so if anything material comes from that's share-worthy, I will certainly let you know about that next week. NARSA Convention Stories, I said last week, if you want to send me a voice note, if you want to send me a video, if you want me to talk to you directly and take notes, if you want me to record you for the podcast, if you want to send it in on text, if you want to send it in on email, any way that you want to get your convention stories to me, please do so, because I think once we get a wee bit of momentum going with that's going to inspire some other people. And we've only had Victoria's and my own since I started doing this. I don't know, what was that, 6-8 weeks ago, something like that. My sister Debbie keeps telling me she's going to send me one, and she's just a liar, obviously, because she has not sent me anything at all. And I know the story. I was actually involved in the story, and I'm really looking forward to seeing her spin and her take on that. So hopefully this is enough to guilt her into giving me that story for next week. That's the plan anyway. On the communication front this week, I think I said last week that they haven't had the Gers guide for quite some time. Probably they would just reintroduce it. I was looking on the Rangers website just prior to recording today, and this is the third Gers guide that they've had. So they started it late July, and I just missed it. I mean, I guess by the time I record, if it's not there, it's not there. And it's not a massive deal. You can go to the Rangers website and see it, of course, but it's just good to give you a wee bit of information on what the Rangers site is saying. Today was, of course, the press conference for Dynamo Kiev. Listened to that this morning on my way back from Lake Windermere and my co-plunge, and he was saying all the right things, and giving us a wee bit of an understanding of what we can look forward to and expect. Tomorrow there's also an Inside Hampden feature on Rangers TV chronicling the Motherwell game from the weekend and highlights of the Rangers women's 11-0 demolition of Aberdeen in their first game of the season to put them atop the Scottish Women's Premiership table after one game. So that's great news. Congratulations to them. Tomorrow is, of course, the Dynamo Kiev game, 7:45 p.m. UK time. On Wednesday, Rangers B team play Clyde in the SPFL Trust Trophy, and that's at New Douglas Park with a 7:45 p.m. kickoff. I don't think it's on Rangers TV, so you'll probably just get to follow it on Rangers social media outlets. I'm sure nothing much going on. Friday's a press conference for the St Johnstone game. And Saturday is, of course, the St Johnstone game with a wee bit of a later kick-off time, 12:45 p.m. Eastern Standard Time there. And then on Sunday we have Rangers women's team taking on Partick Thistle in the Scottish Power Women's Premier League, 2 p.m. UK kick-off. Did you notice I went UK Eastern Standard Time UK kickoff? I'll maybe get that a bit more organised for next week. I was going to go through the squad numbers again, but there hasn't really been much change since last week. I'm going to maybe save that though. I'd like to go back through that again at the end of this transfer window and see what, if anything, is different. I'm sure there has to be something different between now and the end of the month. We're still working through the Rangers Supporters Club registration process. and the NARSA website. If you go and look at your club, if there's anything that needs to be updated, your logo, the address of your location or the name of your location, the executive committee members of your club, please go do that, because people rely on that as they are coming over. And the 3 reminders of events: the Edmiston House, an evening with Jermaine Defoe and Kris Boyd on the 30th of August. So what's that? Just over 2 weeks away now. Tickets are on sale Friday the 27th of September. Oh my goodness, Gary. The Rangers Ladies Lunch. Say that 5 times fast. The Rangers Ladies Lunch, presented by Molden Brown, and then of course the Charity Foundation's Charity Ball, 80s themed Charity Ball on Saturday the 2nd of November, and that's at the Doubletree by Hilton in Glasgow City Centre. So that will do it for this week, my friends. As always, I'd like to take this opportunity once again to thank you very, very much for taking the time to listen, and please do share it with someone that you think might enjoy it. Essentially, this week we have 2 knockout games, folks, and we need in capital letters, bold and underlined, we need to win both of them. And hopefully we do. That's the plan anyway, isn't it? Until next week, please do take care of yourself and all the very best. Follow.